Hello YouTube, man. How you guys doing today? It really ain't quite this dark out. I mean, look, we've got light, but can't tell by looking in this truck. So let's see, maybe I can get some more light going here. At least maybe we can see a little bit. I mean, it is getting dark, but there is light out. Anyway, and I wanted to give y'all a quick update and promise you that it's not always going to be bad stuff. You know how my luck is, man. And hopefully I've gotten through the worst of it, man. I don't know. Those of you that follow me on Facebook, you've probably already heard most of this, and you've probably already read the statement that I'm going to talk about right here. But a long time ago, I used to study quite a few things, and there was a philosopher named Friedrich Wilhelm Nietzsche, and some of you may have heard of him, some of you may not, but I know that you've heard the saying that he penned. Almost nobody knows where it came from, but he said, what does not destroy me only makes me stronger. And man, oh man, I'll tell you what, when I was young and dumb and I had to suffer the consequences of a lot of my stupid ass actions, those words, carried me through many a day. But today, man, over these last few days, they've taken on a whole new meaning. And I'll tell you, when I became a Christian back in 2001, I was told right off the bat that as soon as I started trying to follow God, that the world was going to throw everything it could against me to try to cause me to stumble. And, that was a long time ago, and I've had a long road since then, and some things made me stumble, and I'm not as good of a Christian as I used to be. My faith ain't nowhere near as strong as it used to be. I still love God with all my heart, man. I know what God's done for me. I love Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. I know I'm going to be with Him in heaven. I ain't the best Christian in the world, but I'll tell you what, I can't stand His church. And I've slid back quite a ways. But that message that I got when I became a Christian, that the whole world would come against you to try to make you stumble, and it's taken on a whole new meaning with me today, man. Well, let me just tell you what. I gotta laugh, because if I don't, I'm gonna cry. I guess let me go ahead and start running it all down to you. And some of this stuff I've already talked about before, but I'm just going to lay it all out from the beginning. All over again. So the part of it that you've heard, and just kind of skim through it, but I want to put it all out there right now, just so you see what I'm talking about. So I got the truck and I took it home. I got it signed on with CCC. And, man, it's a good solid truck. It's got a good engine, N14. It's got a good transmission. No problems with it at all. Engine's old. It's got 894,000 miles on it. So it's going to need an in-frame here. It's going to need some kind of work done to it. It leaks a little bit here and there. Got a little bit of seeping on it on the engine block, I'll probably need to pull it all off and replace all the gaskets. And it sat for a long time. And so, I got it signed on with CCC. I took a load to Texas, down from Fort Worth down to Houston. On the way down there, I blew a drive tire. I got it replaced. It cost me $660-something. I don't know, some shit like that. Anyway, I got it replaced roadside. I wasn't too worried about it. That stuff happens. And I was running all recaps. I knew I wanted to change them. I wanted to build up a little bit of money first. I was hoping to get 2 or 3 months going, before I had to do anything major. But the tires were the first thing that I had planned. So I blew that first one. I had some money set aside, so I didn't worry about it too much. I blew the second one the very next day. Another $500 something. All told, it was $1,200 with 2 calls. So that second one I blew, and I was like, man, I can't do a road service call every day. I got 8 tires. 8 road service calls will kill me. So I contacted my company, CCC Transit. I told them what was going on. Told them I had old recaps. They knew I just bought the truck, so they knew there was going to be problems with it. And I asked if they could help me just replace all the drive tires. Of course, they told me, yeah. They told me to go to Southern Tire Mart and get them replaced. So I did. I went there the next morning. Problem is, when I woke up that morning, I had a flat steer tire. There was a nail in it. You can't patch a steer, so you got to replace it. When you replace a steer, you can't just replace one steer. You got to replace both of them. I suppose you could just replace one, but you'll pay for it in the long run. So I called him back and I told him what was going on. He said, go ahead and get a price on everything. So I got a price on everything, $3,800. I put Yokohama tires on there. Yeah, I know they're not Goodyear, they're not Bridgestone, they're not Michelin's, they're an off-brand tire. I'm aware of that, but they've been a decent tire. It's the only thing I could afford, $3,800. CCC helped me pay for it. They're going to take it out in payroll deductions. So I get back on the road, everything's going good. I've got enough days and enough fuel ups going to sit down and try to figure out what my fuel mileage is. And as I'm figuring out what my fuel mileage is, I was already thinking that I was using way more fuel than I should have. I go to figure out what my fuel mileage is, and it's under 5 miles a gallon. I was like, how can it possibly be this fucking bad, I knew it was going to be, a little bad because I don't have, side fairings on the back of the trailer to deflect the air around on the back of the truck to deflect the air around the trailer. So I'm catching the edges of the trailer, and I don't have a wind deflector on top, so I'm catching the top edge of the trailer. So I knew there was a little drag, and I knew that was going to affect my fuel mileage. I expected I was probably going to lose about half to maybe even as much as 3/4 of a mile per gallon. But I was also expecting to be able to get about 6.5 miles per gallon out of this truck, so I was figuring maybe 5.75 to 6 miles per gallon. But here I am under 5, and I couldn't figure out what it was. So I sat here and I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I thought about it. And I thought, well, there's only 2 things that are really going to affect fuel mileage that way. One of them is going to be fuel filter. The second one is going to be air filter. So I pulled out the air filter. The air filter, oh my God, it was horrible. I couldn't replace it right then because I just spent $3,000 on tires, or $5,000 total, including the road service calls. So I blew the filter out as best I could. I put it back on. The truck was running a little bit better. A week later, when I got my last paycheck from Ellis, I went ahead and I spent the money and I replaced that filter. That was about $60. Not too bad, but it was about $60. All right. So the truck ran good for a few days, and then cruising on down the road, and my seat breaks. Yeah, my seat broke. Just broke. Snapped in half. Bag of the seats laying back on my bunk. So now I got to get some good Southern engineering going. Luckily, I'm one of these damn pack rats, man, that I'm kind of a survivalist, so I've got a little bit of everything for everything. I've got tools in here. I've got rope. I've got twine. I've got parachute cord. You name it. I've got something in here that I can use for it. I got, all kinds of shit. So I rigged up some stuff to hold the seat back up so that I can sit in the goddamn thing. And my seat broke. Imagine that. My air conditioner went out. I haven't got a clue what happened. I'm hoping, God, please, let it just be low on Freon, That's an easy fix, $40, $50, and I can buy one of them recharge bottles in the store and I can fill it back up. Only right now I don't have any money. I done spent everything on this truck, so I don't have any money. So I'm running with no air conditioning, and man, I'll tell you what. So I'm cruising down the road, and I've been having problems with my starter. it would turn over and then it would stop and bog down, and then it would sit there for a second, and then it would catch and it would turn. Can't for the life of me figure out what's wrong. I just know my starter's going out. I'm just praying it'll hold up till I get home. When I get home, I can take the time and I can spend the time to replace it, no matter how difficult it is, And so I'm cruising along in Delaware, and as I'm cruising along, I have to go to the bathroom, so I stop at a rest area, and I go out and I use the bathroom. I decide to go ahead and turn the truck off. I didn't have any reason not to turn it off. The starter's always started, So I go out and I use the restroom. I come back, starter's dead, won't start. So now I got to call road service out. Road service comes out, charges me $225 to disconnect my trailer, hook a chain up to the front of the truck, drag me 10 feet, and let me jump start it. I get the truck started. I back up, hook back up to the trailer, pay them $225, and I'm on the road again. Only now my truck's running like shit. And I don't know why it's running like shit. I mean, it was running bad. Every, couple minutes it would cough and it would miss. It was like it was misfiring. Like it wasn't firing on all cylinders, and it didn't have a whole lot of power. I mean, it was still running, and I could still get it up to 60, 65, even 70 miles an hour, but it didn't have power. It wasn't running right. And I started thinking, man, I'm not gonna make it, I'm not gonna get where I need to go. So I got a friend of mine that's a mechanic, and we start troubleshooting everything, and I turn on my CB and my radio, and I've got this real high-pitched whine, what's called kind of an alternator whine, feedback coming through the speakers. I know that's caused by a bad short or by a bad ground. So I'm not really concerned about that. I just turn all that stuff off, and I'm more concerned with the fact that I can't start my engine, and it's hot outside. And I have weed burner exhaust, and it keeps the bottom of the truck pretty warm, which is great during the summer or the winter time. It ain't worth the shit in the summertime. And I couldn't run the truck nonstop, for a week until I got home. So I pull into the Flying J in Ruther Glen, Virginia, and I pop the hood of the trunk, and I go over to the alternator because the feedback should have been coming from there, and I start finding the ground wires, and I'm chasing them back, and I can't. There's nothing wrong with them. They're all solid, and so I go to the other side, and I'm looking, and I just kind of look down, and the ground cable for the starter is just hanging loose. It's not even connected, The brass end of it, the fitting end of it, is attached to the starter, but the wire came out of it, the cable came out of it. So fuck, man, now I gotta fix this. So I drive over to the boss shop, which is the maintenance bay there, and I park right outside, and and I go inside and I talk to them, and they're taking all day long to do anything, and I'm in a hurry. I'm under a load. I got to get there. So I go out, and I'm like, man, maybe if I fix this cable and get this ground done, maybe the starter will work. So I took a chance. I shut it off, and I disconnected the starter cable, and I fixed it and got it securely mounted in there and put it back on, and the starter was dead. So I went into the boss shop. I told the boss shop that I needed a new starter, and they come out and mess with it, try to get it started. It ain't getting started. So they tell me that I got to get it towed into the shop, and I'm like, why can't y'all just come out here and work on it? I'm like, I'll pay you a damn road service fee to come out here and work on it right here in front of us. I'm 200 damn feet from the door. Nope. Got to wait on that tow truck. So I got to call a tow truck. Tow truck takes 2 hours to get there. So 2 hours to get there. Gets me towed into the bay, $175 just to tow me 200 feet. I get into the bay. They spend 2.5, 3 hours messing with the starter. Put the wrong starter back on there. Took an M42 starter out. Put an M39 starter in. But hey, it started up. All I care about is that it works. They said Cummins told them that starter was compatible, it would work. What the hell do I know? I'm not a mechanic, I pay them to be a mechanic. So they put the starter in, it starts, it's running okay, I don't see any problems with it. We get on down the road. I deliver in Henderson, North Carolina, and then I head down to Mebane, North Carolina, to the TA there, or Petro, whatever the hell it is, the Petro. Anyway, I fuel up, I turn off my truck, I fuel up, it starts back up, only this time there's a rattling noise, and I don't know where the fucking rattling noise is coming from. I can't figure it out. But there's this rattling noise. So, I can't figure it out. I'm trying to find it. I can't find it. I got this load. This load is 30 minutes away from being late, so I go ahead and I get down there so that I can pick up this load, and as I'm getting there, I get about halfway there, which it's only about 3 or 4 miles from the Petro. There's this grinding fucking crash in my engine, and I knew it. I knew what it was, It was really, really bad for a second, and then it just quit. Everything smoothed out, and the truck was running fine, and I got there, I picked my load up, I'm trying to find something wrong. I can't find nothing wrong. I can't hear the sound anymore, so I'm not too worried about it, anyway, I get back to Petro, and there's plenty of parking, and I go ahead and park, and then I decide to go ahead and shut it off and then start it back up. I shut it off, and it was it. It wasn't starting back up. So I go into the Petro and I explain the situation to them. I call my company, I explain the situation to them. The company tells me to get it fixed, so I get it fixed. They come out, they pull the starter out. First, like I said, it's the wrong starter. The flywheel chewed up the Bendix for the starter. So that starter's trashed, it's completely ruined. Luckily it didn't destroy my flywheel in the process. So they got to put a new starter in. Well, first off, the $175 for the tow truck, $673 for the starter. So I get here, and now I've got to keep this starter because I got to take it back, turn it in, and try to get my money back from the boss shop because they fucked up. So, I got to keep this starter, which cost me $150, and shoots my bill up to $814 at Petro. Well, so they come out to pull the starter out, and the starter's loose. It's just hanging there. So the threads have backed out. They didn't torque, or whatever. I don't know, but it wasn't tightened in. So they put Loctite on it and put it back in. And so far, it's been fine. Now, as soon as my engine is completely cooled down, it still looks like it's about 120, 130 degrees. I'm going to give it another hour or so to cool down. I'm going to get in there and fuck with that starter and see if I can move it. But it seemed pretty solid when I got here and was messing with it. And the truck's been starting back up, so, all's good. So, this morning I wake up and I do my pre-trip, and I notice I have a threadbare tire. Alright. When I got my DOT inspection on the truck and trailer done a couple weeks ago, they pointed out a tire in the back that was at 2/32, and told the Triple C about it. Triple C said to keep running it because it's still legal. That was a couple weeks ago. And so this morning, every time I've stopped, I've looked at that tire, and I guess every time I've stopped, it's been in the right position so that everything bad was on the bottom of it. But this time when I stopped, everything was facing backwards, and I looked at the tire and it was just nothing but steel radials. So I took a picture of it and sent it back to the company, and the company told me to go ahead and get it changed. So I put that in the shop to get it changed, and I guess I should have finished all my pre-trip at that point, but instead I stopped everything right there, went and took care of that, got it taken care of. And then while they were working on my truck, I noticed that I had a drive tire that was low on air. So when I tried to get them to let me air it up, they have a new policy at TA Petro that you can't air your tires up there. They have to do it, and it costs money for them to do it. I don't have any more money. I'm broke. I don't have nothing left. I mean, I've used up everything on this truck so far. Everything I had. Now I'm broke until I get a paycheck. And so I drove 7 miles down the road to the Flying J, and I aired it up the Flying J. While I was airing it up, or while I was in the process of airing tires up, checking all the inflation on the tires, I checked the lug nuts. I found a couple of loose lug nuts. Remember Southern Tire Mart, who replaced all my drive tires? Yeah. Well, I found a couple loose lug nuts, so I checked the next axle. There's 3 loose lug nuts on that axle. I check another axle. There's 2 loose lug nuts on that axle. I check another axle. There's a lug nut missing. I just checked all this shit a couple days ago. In my pre-trip, last, I guess, 3 days I've been concerned with the starters, so I haven't paid much attention to the tires. But I have looked at them. I have, noted air pressures, and I have looked at my lug nuts, and all my lug nuts were present, accounted for, and were not loose. However, this morning, I had lug nuts loose on every axle. So I turned my ass back around, went right back to Petro, and had to pay another $36 for them to torque down all four of my drives, or all 4 sets of lug nuts on my drives. So they tightened them down, and they found, once they got a torque wrench on them, they found there was, I'd say, over half of my lug nuts on 3 of the axles were loose, and on 1 axle, every single lug nut was loose. I'm like, God damn, man, fuck my life, man, What the fuck else can possibly go wrong, So I left out today. I finally get on the road, and everything has been uneventful since. And that is the update. I tell you, man. At this point, I don't even know what to say, Oh, man. I'm in there for the long run, and I'm not quitting. I'm going to beat this shit, But, it's kicking my ass, without a doubt. It's definitely kicking my ass. But, it's part of the whole deal. I don't even know how much money I've spent. I don't even have a clue. I would guess 7,000, so far, with all the stuff that's gone wrong. Maybe 6,500. I still don't have any air conditioning. And, I want to reiterate, this is a damn good truck. It really is. I mean, it doesn't sound like it, but it really is. It's a damn good truck. It's an old truck. Oh, one more thing. Oh, God, man. I was locking my driver's door, and I was delivering plants to 9 different Walmarts. Got all 9 drops in one day. But I was delivering these plants to these Walmarts, and I got to wrap this up pretty quick. It's getting long. And I go to lock my door, and the fucking key sticks in the lock. I can't get it out. I tried everything. I couldn't get it out. I just left it in the door. I figured if I can't get it out, they can't get it out. They can't steal the truck without the keys, and the keys in the door. So I went inside. I took care of everything. I got them to start unloading it. While they're unloading it, I'm out here fighting this door, trying to get my key out of the door lock. It won't come out. I mean, it's jammed. It will not come out. I sprayed lubricating fluid in there. I jiggled it up and down, side to side, turned it back and forth, locked and unlocked. I did everything I could to get the key out. I couldn't get it out. Would not come out no matter what I did. I got mad. I grabbed a pair of pliers and I yanked that bitch out. When I yanked it out, the lock cylinder came with it. So now I have no lock on my driver's door. It'll still lock, and you cannot unlock it from outside. it'll still lock. But now I've got to lock my door, go out the passenger side, lock the passenger side, come in the passenger side. So that's another thing I got to fix when I get home. Note to self, don't lose your temper. Man, oh man. So the $1 million question. If you're going to ask me, should I become an owner-operator? Should I buy my own truck? Goddamn right you should. Damn right. Do I regret it? Hell no. Am I frustrated? Yes, sir. I'm so frustrated right now I could spit nails. Don't know what I'm going to do at this point, except keep on keeping on. I'm out of money. I'm making money, I'm making good money. But right now I'm out of money. If anything major goes on, if my company ever decides to stop, then I'm screwed. I posted about it on Facebook how frustrated I was, and my operations manager, Matt Drickus, comes on Facebook and he said, man, don't worry, we got your back. We've got your back. There's no better feeling in the world when you've got this much on the line for your boss to come on there and say, we got your back. So should you do it? Goddamn right you should. Nothing worth anything in life comes without struggle. If it was easy, everybody'd do it. If it wasn't about struggle, if you could just wake up one day and make the kind of money that we make out here, everybody would do it. But I'll tell you what, there ain't no better sense of accomplishment that you could ever have in your life. You got a choice. You can get a new truck or you can get an old truck. I don't feel like dealing with the issues with a new truck. Does that mean I'm going to, have no issues with an old truck? No, I'm going to may even have more issues with an old truck. But the issues that I'm having, even though they're frustrating, they've drained my pocketbook, they've destroyed my bank account, even with all that, they're all minor issues, They're all minor. So yeah, you should do it. I don't regret it one bit. Hey man, we're hitting 28 minutes. I'm frustrated, I'm frustrated more than you can ever imagine. But we got a job to do. And by God, I'm going to do that job. And I'm going to do it in my truck. My truck. It's not a lease purchase. It's my truck. This truck belongs to me. Goddamn right you should do it. Peace out.